Geyikli Baba heard these conversations, but he did not intervene, because answers given from the outside would damage the path. People had to learn to face what they did not understand. Those who could not, did not remain. Indeed, over time, the number of those who stayed grew smaller. Those who left usually departed in silence. Some left in anger. As they went, they claimed the lodge was hiding something, that it offered no power, that it was wasting their time. These words lingered in the minds of those who stayed, but they did not take root. No one had been kept here by promises. For Matthaeus, the thought of leaving began to surface more frequently, but it did not feel like escape. It felt like realizing that he could no longer remain where he was. Staying here did not protect him. It made what he carried heavier. One morning, while working, he noticed that he could not release the tool in his hand for a long time. His hand was not shaking, but it was clenched. In that moment, he understood that he was holding something heavier than the sword he once carried on the battlefield. It was something he had seen, and what is seen seeks to be carried. Geyikli Baba noticed Matthaeus' state, but once again, he said nothing. Some people had to begin walking within themselves before they could be sent onward. When the foreigners dispersed across Anatolia, each was pulled in a different direction. Some tried to forget what they had seen. Some exaggerated it. Some turned it into fear. Matthaeus could neither forget nor embellish. He chose to tell things incompletely, but even incomplete telling was a form of corruption. At this point, control of the path was entirely lost. Geyikli Baba knew this. He had known it from the beginning, because the preservation of the path did not depend on everyone understanding correctly, but on the inevitability of misunderstanding. That is why he remained silent, and where he remained silent, the story continued to grow.
As Matthaeus' stay at the lodge grew longer, it became clear that the reason he remained there had changed. In the early days, the place had been a refuge for him. Over time, it became a stop. Eventually, it turned into a threshold. But remaining beyond that threshold was not the path itself. Geyikli Baba was the first to recognize this. He saw that Matthaeus was no longer fleeing, yet he was not moving forward either. He was not returning to his former life, nor was he taking on a role there. He worked, remained silent, observed, but this state could not be carried. When one stayed in the same place for too long, what had been witnessed turned into weight. One morning, Geyikli Baba called him over. There was no long conversation. Long conversations were not held in that lodge.
Staying here is not the path, he said, and standing here is not either.
For the first time, Matthaeus did not object. He understood that this was not a dismissal. It was a surrender. Geyikli Baba did not tell him what to do. He did not demand an oath. He did not give him a new name. He spoke only one name.
Ahi Evran.
Matthaeus had not heard this name before, but there was something different in Geyikli Baba's voice. For the first time, he realized that a person's name could be spoken like a direction. If you go there, said Geyikli Baba, they will not ask what you are, they will ask what you do. Matthaeus did not understand, but he was not meant to, because this path was not one that could be known in advance. Geyikli Baba did not give him a map. He left no sign. He only added this.
I stand between animal and human. He stands between human and human.
This sentence was the first time something settled into place for Matthaeus. Until now, what he had witnessed concerned nature. But the burden he would carry from now on would concern people. When Matthaeus left the lodge, he left nothing behind. No object, no words. But he carried a burden with him. He would now carry what he had seen not in a place to be hidden, but in a place to be lived. The road led him to cities, to marketplaces, workshops, caravanserais. Here, no one transformed into animals, no one performed miracles. But people weighed one another not by words, but by work. The place where Ahi Evran was could be recognized even from a distance. It was not loud, but it was orderly. No one shouted. No one was given privilege. Here, faith was not something debated. It was something practiced. When Matthaeus entered, he was not asked who he was. He was not asked what he knew. He was not asked what he had seen. They asked only one thing.
What work do you do?
Matthaeus could not answer immediately. For the first time in his life, his past was of no use. He had no sword, no rank. His witness carried no value here. And in that moment, he understood. Geyikli Baba had sent him here to leave miracles behind and begin with ethics. There was no turning back from this path. When Matthaeus reached the place where Ahi Evran lived, he immediately realized that this was not a lodge, but a place of work. No one inside was praying. No one was kneeling. People were working, processing leather, repairing tools, twisting rope. Everyone was busy, yet no one was in a hurry. Geyikli Baba's words found meaning here. No one asked who anyone was. What one knew did not matter. What was done came before what was said. Matthaeus observed for several days. He saw Ahi Evran from a distance but was not called over. He did not approach either. Here, drawing attention was not the goal. Finding one's place was. One night, he noticed movement behind the workshops. There was no noise, but there was a sound. It was not a human voice, nor an animal's. It came in intermittent, low, broken tones. Matthaeus moved toward the sound. He saw Ahi Evran. Several snakes lay among the stones on the ground. They were not fleeing. They were not aggressive. Ahi Evran was bent forward. He did not raise his hands. He did not use a staff. His lips moved, producing sounds that resembled no language Matthaeus knew. It was not whistling. It was not imitation. It sounded more like a response. Matthaeus froze. What he was witnessing was different from Geyikli Baba's transformation. There was no change of form here, but the boundary had disappeared once again.
At that moment, Ahi Evran noticed Matthaeus' presence. He turned his head. He stopped the sounds. The snakes slowly withdrew. Matthaeus did not hide. He did not run. He had already learned not to flee from what he had seen. Ahi Evran stood up.
Do not think you saw, he said. Try to understand what you heard.
Matthaeus remained silent, then asked, "Did you speak with them?"
Ahi Evran nodded. What you call speaking, he said, is not always made of words.
They stood in silence for a while. Then Ahi Evran looked at Matthaeus' face. He understood that Matthaeus was a foreigner, but no longer remained one.
If you are going to ask my name, he said, there are two answers. Matthaeus lifted his head. There was weight in his voice as he spoke in not ownership, but clarification. They do not call me by this name here, he continued, because this name belongs only to me. Matthaeus listened carefully. The one who noticed that I could speak with snakes, said Ahi Evran, gave me another name. He paused briefly. The one who gave me that name, he said, was Hakbekta Betty. Matthaeus had heard this name before, but never within such a natural connection. In Turkish, Ahi Evran continued, a name that means brother of snakes.
He spoke the name without pride or claim of sanctity, as if it were simply the name of a craft. Without thinking, Matthaeus asked, "Why do the snakes speak with you?" Ahi Evran did not answer immediately.
I do not speak with them, he said. They noticed that I do not speak. The answer did not satisfy Matthaeus, but it silenced him. Because here, Answers were not meant to close questions, but to add weight. Ahi Evran looked to where the snakes had withdrawn. Geyikli Baba sent you to me, he said, because you carry what you have seen.
Matthaeus lowered his head. This was not acceptance, nor was it escape. It was the knowledge that there was no returning. Ahi Evran spoke one final sentence.
Here, one does not turn into animals. Here, one becomes human. In that moment, Matthaeus understood. Geyikli Baba had shown him the boundary. Ahi Evran would show him responsibility, and the path moved forward silently. Please like and subscribe for more.